Hello, students. We're about to discuss Think Up page 50. So make sure you're touring it out, that you have a pencil ready to take notes in your earbuds so that you're able to listen to this. So let's talk about this constant of proportionality. So it says that Celia, she shops for groceries at her local supermarket. So she sees a sign that advertises cans of green beans, 2 cans for $1.10. She then divides $1.10 by 2 and determines that for 1 can of green bean, it costs 55 cents. The value Celia calculates is the constant of proportionality. Sometimes I just like to abbreviate it and call it COP, constant of proportionality. So the next paragraph says that the constant of proportionality is the constant ratio between two proportional quantities that either increase or decrease at the same rate. So it's not going to change rates. I don't care who buys the green beans. 55 cents is how much they're going to pay for 1 can. So it says in this example, the ratio is $1.10 divided by the 2, which equals to 55 cents. It does not matter if Celia buys more or less. The total price of the green beans goes up or down proportionally. Next paragraph, even though the number of cans of green beans Celia buys and the total price can change, the price for 1 can, the constant of the proportionality, remains the same. I acted as if I couldn't get that out. So it says this is why it is called constant, because it is a fixed value or a fixed number. So you will learn how to identify the constant of proportionality, whether it's an equation, a word problem, a table, or a graph. So the ratio for the constant of proportionality in this example is $1.10 divided by 2. Using this ratio, we can write a general equation for any constant of proportionality. And the constant of proportionality is typically represented by the variable k. So in this example, k equals the total price y divided by the number of cans, or, which is x, or k is equal to y over x. So to find that constant of proportionality, we're dividing that y dependent by the x independent. If we solve the equation for y, multiplying both sides by x, that's how we're going to get this equation right here, which you all will say the multiplicative relationship, but now we're going to say that it's a proportional relationship because it has that constant of proportionality. So this is the equation used most often when working with the constant of proportionality. I don't know what I was thinking about. But by substituting values in for y and x, the constant of proportionality can be determined. So let us now look at Try It. So we're going to use this information to answer questions 1 through 3. If you want to pause the video while you work it, do so. But it says the table shows the cost of frozen yogurt for a different number of ounces. So we know that the number of ounces is our independent, and cost depends upon the number of ounces. So it says write an equation to show the relationship between the number of ounces, x, and the cost, y. Well, they want us to write an equation. We know that the equation, because it is proportional, would be y is equal to k times x. So now we need to figure out, what is that k? The way that we'll find out what that k is, which is our constant of proportionality, Let me change colors. We must now do what they said to find that k by putting that y over that x. So that is how we're going to find that k so that we can write that equation. Okay, let us see. I know I cannot use this y here because it's just 0 all over 0. So let's try this one and this one. So let's put that 6 tenths. Let's put that 60 cents, 0.60, all over 1 2 tenths. And let's see what we get. Well, I know that if I do 6 tenths, I'm just writing it up here, divide that by 1 2 tenths. Okay, I know that I have to move this decimal one time because I want to make it a whole number. So that's no longer going to be 1 2 tenths, but it's going to be 12. If I multiply that by 10 or move that decimal once, I must do the same thing here. So when I move that decimal once, it becomes 6. So now, before I try to figure out how many times 12 can divide into 6, which is 0, I'm going to add a decimal and a 0 because I know it's not going to divide in there anytime, or 0. Then I bring down that 6 and that 0. I know that 12 divides into 60 5 times, which that will give me 60 and 0. So far, I'm thinking that the constant of proportionality might be 5 tenths. But I'm not going to stop there. Let me do another one. Let's do this one divided by that one. So once again, that y, which is 1 5 tenths, or $1.50, I don't want to work with that 0, all over 3, because that is that y over that x. Let me come up here and divide that again. 1 5 tenths divided by 3. Don't forget that decimal must come up. I know that 3 divides into 1 0 times. Bring down that 5. 3 divides into 15 5 times, and that gives me 15, so 0. Okay, once again, I have 5 tenths. Let me just do one more time. This one here divided by that one. So let's try that y, $2.25, all over that x, 4 5 tenths. So now I'm going to come way up here, and I'm going to do $2.25 divided by 4 5 tenths. So I know I must move this decimal once, and I'm going to move that decimal once. And so now I know that I have 45 divided into 22 and 5 tenths. So I know that I bring this decimal up here. I think I'm going to run out of room. It don't look like it's going to let me write. Okay. Then I know that it doesn't divide in there. No, let me erase this and let me do that one again. I had to pause that recording. So then now I'm going to have 45 divided into 22 and 5 tenths. So I know that 45 cannot divide into 22. It divides in a 0 time. I don't know why I'm putting that. So then now I have 225. Well, I know that 45 is close to 50. And if I have it dividing into $2.25 or 50 divided in there, it's about 5 times. So let's see if that's going to work. And I know that 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 4 is 20 plus 2 is 22. So my answer here is also 5/10. So as you can tell, my constant of proportionality in each of these situations is 5/10. So now let me go back to writing this equation. And I know that y is equal to, and in place of k, I'm putting 5/10 x. I could also have said y is equal to 1/2 x. These are your equations. Now, let's look at number 2. Don't forget to find your constant of proportionality. You're always putting that y over that x. So let's look at number 2. I don't know why that little black mark is there. I cannot erase it. But it says graph the proportional relationship shown in that table. So now I'm taking these x and y values and plotting them on this graph. And we know that our x is horizontal this way, and our y is vertical that way. So our first point is, and I'm just going to pick a different color. Our first point is 0, 0. And so we know that it is proportional, or we could say that it's, as you all said, multiplicative. But now we're saying proportional. Then the next x value is 1 2/10, which is about right here. And then I go up to 60 cents, which is a little bit below $1. So I'm going to put this one right here. Then my next point is 3 ounces, and it goes up to $1.50, which is halfway between 1 and 2, right there. And my last point is 4.5, which is halfway between 4 and 5. And then I'm going up to 2 25/100, which will be about right here. So now that is my linear relationship with my points here, 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 and there. So now it says, given the equation y is equal to kx, what is the constant of proportionality, k, shown in the table, the equation, and the graph? So they're asking you for that k. We know that it is here, 5/10, or 1/2. We know that even in the table it's 5/10 because we worked it each time. And then we also know that from the graph, it is also 5/10. So it can be constant is equal to 5/10, or the constant is equal to 1/2. So it just says down here, if you'd like to answer it, what do you still wonder about the constant of proportionality? If you have a question there, write it down, and then I'll answer it when you have an opportunity to ask me. But guess what? This is going in your notebook. I'll tell you what page it goes on because I can't remember because I don't have my notebook with me. But you place it in your notebook. So make sure you look in Google Classroom where it goes and put your title there. And I'll see you in class.